Yeah, I'll close the work session. Everybody please silence your cell phones, and we'll call the regular session order. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have one request from everybody. I have two separate signature sheets. If you guys, I hate doing this to you, will you please sign them all again just because I have to separate them.
no, I'm sorry, you guys finish it. Go ahead and go.
Thank you for this. Each time in a while, but
We're gonna figure out something.
Law enforcement.
It's law enforcement data.
I wasn't, I came in late, I was working Saturday.
wasn't actually, it wasn't.
Yeah, it's law enforcement. Yes, it's law enforcement.
It's a law enforcement data system. My test. Oh, I interviewed, last week. And then in the second interview, I interviewed tomorrow, on Tuesday. Yeah, that's, I'm moving the shirt still. Well, it wasn't a test, it's an interview. Because I can pass the sergeant's test, I can't, you gotta get by the interview.
You don't want anybody to know you're
Berta's
here?
not in here, so
Exactly right.
What's that?
It's coming from.
But you should call it to order so that you're, no,
The pledge,
yeah, just make
I
sure.
would move we accept the agenda as presented with the addition of the MOU for the Department of Land Conservation and Development with the town of Lakeview.
You want a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded, those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. County law enforcement services, we've already discussed. In the work session, we'll hold off on that.
I would just move to table it for the
Table it,
time being
yeah.
because we need to do much more investigation on 911 and other services.
So,
who's second?
move on to,
Mr. Mayor, was there a second and a vote on that move to table?
Yeah. Oh, to table, no, there
Yeah.
isn't.
No, I made the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second, I'm moving ahead here. Motion made, wait a second. Okay, those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
I'd like to note I'm against that.
You're against
Tabling it.
tabling it?
I think we got a proposal, what we talked about last week was that we'd at least move forward with the contract and direct the sheriff's department to present us with the contract. Today was a budget. Budget can be negotiated. Contract still, in my opinion, should be discussed as moving forward. And now that we know more about 911 dispatch, that should also be on the table. Something that the sheriff should at least entertain the idea of, and we should, present an idea. I mean, he said too much but that's without getting a lot of details so far. So I think if he looked at what is possible out there, he might be willing to take it on, discussing some of the rules that we talked about.
So Darwin, are you making a motion not to table it, but to do further investigation?
No, the motion
You just
was
explained
approved
why.
4-1, me against. I'm just giving you some of my discussion as to
Okay.
why I voted against, because I still think it should be moving forward. I mean, we're still in the crisis. I know, but you guys made the motion first, so there was no discussion about the motion. So I voted, and I'm just stating why I voted against it, because I think we need to be moving forward. We are in a crisis situation. We do only have one officer, and we need to be moving forward on this.
Well, we're gonna have a lot more work
There
sessions.
will be, I'm just stating, I think we need to. What the original discussion was last week, why it's still on the agenda this week, is because we left last week saying maybe we would come to a consensus of wanting to move a contract forward, and now we're tabling it
But we
for.
can't move the contract forward until we know
Without
it's
ever
going.
knowing.
We don't have a
without knowing
contract to
everything.
move forward. What I'm saying is we were just going to, I thought today, move a contract as in work on presenting us with a contract. So
Okay.
we got presented with the budget today, which was not really necessary to me. But anyways, let's move forward, because I've already stated we get tabling this.
Okay.
Is Ginger here?
I never did.
I thought she was doing a presentation on this.
Not on this, huh? No, this is a different thing that Darwin.
If you want, I can give you
Yeah.
some.
Okay, so-
Janine Cannon got a copy of this today as well. She's not here, and I'm not gonna speak for her, but essentially what this is, backing up a little bit, let me tell you, that we've got an economic opportunities analysis grant through the state that we're working on currently. There's an advisory committee that's been established. We'll have our first meeting here, I think it's the beginning of January, I don't have the date in front of me. But today I went through a buildable land inventory with the consultant, with Janine Cannon. Don was in on that call as well. City of Paisley was supposed to, but didn't. And we will be doing that for economic reasons. And then this is a separate agreement with the state. There's been a grant awarded and a contractor likely picked who we will, this agreement's between us and DLCD, Department of Land Conservation and Development, to work on housing needs analysis. Essentially, this is something that we need as part of our land use codes to work on, just seeing where we need to be with zoning and housing needs and things like that. So it's an extremely great opportunity. State just is under a deadline, and we're under a deadline. If we want to be part of this, we need to have it back to them by the 15th, and this is really a kind of crunch time to just enter into agreement, similar to last. There's no
So we're
real
entering into
funding
agreement to do an analysis.
to be part of the analysis, that really the contractor will be doing the majority of the work. We'll have a committee, it'll be likely the same committee that's already been formed for the EOA. And so we're not really obligated to expend any funds on this, other than staff time, that should be very minimal. So,
And I did have Jeff review that too, just to.
It's an acceptable contract, I think, from a legal standpoint. It's something I think you need to do because we are getting more commentary in development projects. Those Plan 9 goals about housing and things, we have a pretty big shortage in town of that. And if we don't start doing some planning around it, some stuff can be imposed on you, or some of your land use decisions can be challenged based on not meeting that planning goal. So this is a good first step without costing us a bunch of resources to get this analysis done. Because if you don't do it, it'll be done for you, and you may not like how somebody from out of the area does it. So it's my recommendation.
Then you're stuck with their recommendations.
Correct, or their mandates.
Yeah, and mandates.
this is a template agreement that other communities who are also awarded the grant are entering into. So Paisley will, and this is the one for Lakeview and Paisley have a signature line on this as well. But our agreement would be with the state.
So is there a time thing on this, when
Needs
it
to
will
go
be
in.
started or be done, or?
Yeah, it's gonna be done, by next summer, essentially. Yeah, I mean, the work that the consultant will do will wrap up, it looks like, by probably June 15th, no later than the 30th of June. But then there will likely be adoption where, you send a notice to the LCD saying you're gonna change your code in little ways. Comprehensive plan amendment is what that would likely mean.
Yes.
Yeah, and that takes a little bit more time.
Frankly, folks, it's something we're gonna have to do anyway, because those are, when those needs are identified, you kind of have to comply with them, and it's also in the town's best interest, because again, otherwise you start being out of compliance, and LUBA can then reverse some of the development decisions and stuff that planning does, so it's necessary.
This is just a first step, doing the needs assessment.
Correct. Any,
And that's being taken care of by,
The consultant, whoever the DLCD will hire.
But since the DLCD or the Department of Land Conservation and Development here in Oregon has received those funds and they want to spend it on doing this for the town of Lakeview, I would move that we
Oh, I would accept, yes.
move forward.
Now, do I hear a motion on that?
That's his motion, I just gave you.
I'll do it.
I'll second the motion.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Good. Get the right one, I'll get it signed. Okay, do we have any other business? Besides this? Okay, do we have any public comment?
Stuart Stewart, I'm here in Lakeview, 429 South I. And I'm posing a question. I understand that we're down 3 officers and that the salaries are still sitting there. Is it possible that they could transfer some of those unused funds, since they're not being paid for a service, can they be transferred over to update our fire department equipment stuff that they said was in, needed repair or something like that? So I was under the impression they needed to update something over at the fire hall.
Well, some of that equipment's volunteer equipment.
Well, I understand that.
Okay.
And I understood from one of the previous meetings from a while back that some of the equipment needed to be updated or upgraded or some sort
I think it
of.
has been updated, hasn't it, Scott? Dennis?
We're doing fine.
The
Are you?
bond,
You're doing fine now? Okay. Well, I didn't receive anything contrary to that last meeting, so I needed to find out.
No, we're doing fine.
Okay.
We're gonna work within the budget and upgrade as needed.
Okay. Thank you very much.
thank you for your concern.
Anybody else? Okay. Hearing none, then we will adjourn the regular meeting, and we'll go into an executive session, and then when we're done there, we'll come back to regular. No, that's not even on here. Okay, so we're gonna adjourn the regular meeting at 4:15. We haven't changed the clock yet.
Yeah.